Welcome to Twilight Tale, where history slows down, the lights go soft, and ancient worlds drift quietly back to life. Tonight's bedtime story begins beneath a sky crowded with stars, along the calm, dark ribbon of the Nile. Because long before telescopes, satellites, or modern maps, some of the world's earliest thinkers were already asking a question that feels almost too big to hold. What shape is the Earth? Most people imagine the ancient world as flat and simple, edges, cliffs, and a great unknown beyond. But in Egypt, where seasons followed the river and time followed the sky, careful observers, priests, scribes, and astronomers noticed patterns that didn't quite fit a flat world. They watched the sun rise and set with steady precision. They studied shadows stretching across stone. They tracked stars that shifted as you traveled north or south, as if the heavens themselves were changing angle. And little by little, these clues began to whisper the same secret. The world is curved. So settle in, get comfortable, and let your breathing slow. Because in this sleeping history tale, we're traveling back to ancient Egypt, into temples, libraries, and moonlit riverbanks, where quiet observations helped shape one of humanity's biggest ideas. This is How Ancient Egyptians Knew the Earth Was Round, and your story begins now. The winds of the desert whisper softly in the stillness of the night. It is a time when the world feels suspended between waking and dreaming, and the ancient sands of Egypt, so full of secrets, settle quietly under the watchful gaze of the stars. In the shadow of the great pyramids, the stones lie cold and heavy, silent witnesses to the passage of countless generations. Their angles still pierce the sky, their towering forms unyielding, yet they too seem to soften in the dim light of the moon. Time here, it seems, bends and folds into itself, an endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Tonight, the world feels different. Beneath the vastness of the heavens, beneath the soft, ethereal glow of distant constellations, we are drawn to the very heart of the ancient Egyptian cosmos, to Ra, the sun god. Ra, who sailed across the sky each day in his golden boat, pulling the sun with him. Ra, whose journey through the heavens marked the very pulse of creation. Imagine, if you will, a single moment just before dawn. The night is still heavy, a blanket of coolness draped over the land, but in the distance, beyond the horizon, there stirs a soft light. The first sliver of the sun begins to rise, its warm golden hues casting long shadows across the sands. The ancient Egyptians knew something profound at that moment. It is said that Ra, in his golden bark, traveled across the sky, carving the heavens with his journey. But beneath this sacred journey, something deeper existed. The boat, with its curved shape and endless motion, whispered a truth. The world, the earth, was round. The Egyptians saw the circle not as a mere shape, but as the very foundation of life itself. To them, it was the symbol of eternity, of the heavens, and of Ra's daily passage. The golden boat that carried him across the heavens was not simply a vessel, it was the embodiment of the world's eternal rhythm, the unbroken flow of life that revolved, turning ever onward. The The circle was the shape of the sun, the stars, the earth, and the divine, a symbol of the constant motion that sustained all things. In the soft morning light, as the sun rises higher, the golden beams illuminate the earth, tracing the curves of the pyramids, the temples, the statues, and the sacred obelisks. The world begins to breathe again. There is a quiet, sacred silence that settles over the land, as if Ra's golden light carries with it an ancient knowledge, a hidden truth that the Egyptians, in their wisdom, understood long before others did. But this knowledge did not end with the sun's rise. The ancient Egyptians, in their careful observation of the cosmos, recognized that Ra's journey mirrored the cycle of the stars themselves. Just as the sun traveled across the sky, so too did the stars chart a path of their own, their light marking the course of the heavens above. And the Egyptians believed that the stars were not mere points of light scattered randomly across the sky. No, they were part of a grand, sacred geometry, a design so perfect that even the stones of the pyramids seemed to echo it. The stars, like the sun, moved in circles, spiraling across the sky, returning again and again, just as Ra returned every morning to renew the earth. It is said that the Egyptians understood this cosmic symmetry in a way that transcended mere observation. They saw in the heavens a reflection of the earth, a mirror image of the world below. Just as Ra's boat carved a path across the heavens, so too did the earth rotate beneath him, and the heavens themselves formed a perfect circle, a cosmic dance between light and shadow, between life and death. The sun, the moon, the stars, all moved in circles, and in their movement they gave life to the world. In the vastness of the desert, where the earth seems endless, the circle of life becomes a quiet meditation. The Egyptians, so deeply connected to the rhythms of nature, saw this circle in everything, in the seasons, in the flow of the Nile, in the growth of crops, in the cycles of birth and death. The river, with its gentle, winding path, mirrored the path of the sun, always returning, always turning. Even the very shape of the land itself, with its undulating hills and valleys, seemed to echo the sacred circle of the heavens. And it was this circle, the eternal movement, that the Egyptians believed held the key to life itself. The circle was not simply a shape to be admired from afar. It was a sacred symbol, a reminder that all things were interconnected, that every moment in time was part of an unbroken cycle. To understand the circle was to understand the very nature of existence, the sun's rise and fall, the moon's journey across the sky, the stars' eternal rotation. It was all part of the same dance, the same sacred rhythm that moved through the universe, binding everything together. The ancient Egyptians lived their lives in harmony with this understanding. Their rituals, their temples, their pyramids, all were built with this cosmic knowledge in mind. The alignment of the pyramids, with their precise orientation to the stars, was not a mere accident. It was a reflection of their belief that the Earth was a part of a greater cosmic whole, a sphere that was always turning, always in motion. The pyramids, standing like sentinels against the horizon, were a symbol of this eternal truth, a truth that Ra, in his golden boat, carried with him across the heavens each day. As the day deepens and the sun climbs higher in the sky, a silence falls over the land. The desert is quiet, save for the soft whisper of the wind, and the pyramids, though ancient and weathered, seem to breathe with the rhythm of the cosmos. The air is thick with a sense of sacredness, as if the land itself is alive with memory, with the weight of centuries of knowledge that are just beyond reach. It is said that the ancient Egyptians were able to perceive the world in a way that few others could. They saw the earth not as a flat, static place, but as a living, breathing sphere suspended in the vastness of the cosmos. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the pyramids, the stars begin to emerge, their light soft and distant. The circle of the heavens comes full circle, and once again, Ra's golden boat begins its journey to the other side of the world. But as the sun disappears below the horizon, we are left with a feeling of quiet awe, of a mystery that lingers in the air, like a breath held just before it is released. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the knowledge of the ancients was not meant to be grasped in its entirety, but only to be felt, like the whisper of the wind or the echo of a forgotten song. The circle, with all its mysteries, may remain a symbol of something deeper, something eternal, a truth that resides in the very fabric of the universe, just beyond the reach of our understanding. And so, as the night deepens and the stars twinkle softly above, we are left with the silence of the desert, with the quiet pulse of the earth beneath our feet, and with the echo of Ra's golden journey across the heavens. In this sacred silence, we feel the weight of the circle, the shape that holds the universe together, the rhythm that binds all things, the sacred geometry that transcends time and space. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully known. Perhaps the truth is not something that can be grasped, but something that can only be felt in the quiet moments between wakefulness and sleep, in the soft silence of the night, beneath the vast and mysterious sky. Some truths only reveal themselves when we are ready to listen. Some whispers can only be heard in the stillness, when the mind is quiet and the heart is open to the mysteries of the world. And as sleep comes gently, as the world fades into the soft embrace of darkness, we are left with the sacred circle, the symbol of eternity, of life, of Ra's golden journey, and of the earth itself. And so we rest, beneath the stars, beneath the sacred silence, beneath the eternal circle that holds the universe together. Beneath the endless sands of Egypt, where time has folded and shaped the world, a secret whispers through the quiet ruins of forgotten temples. The heat of the day still clings to the air, but the moment between dusk and night hangs heavy with something more, something ancient and eternal. In the silence, the great pyramids stand as sentinels of a lost knowledge, their stone faces etched with the mysteries of the heavens. Tonight, as the sun dips low, a veil of golden light begins to spill across the desert, casting long shadows upon the earth. The wind carries the faintest scent of dust and earth, and the horizon begins to blur where the sky meets the sand. Here, in the heart of the ancient world, lies a sacred place, carved from stone and time. We are drawn to the vast, haunting halls of Karnak, temples built to honor gods, kings, and cosmic forces. Their towering columns stand like great guardians, reaching toward the heavens. Within their walls, the rhythm of stone speaks to those who listen, calling us to seek something more. It is here, within these walls, that the earth and the sky seem to meet, where the Egyptians, with their profound wisdom, sought to understand the very nature of the universe. And as we step deeper into the temple, beneath the flickering torchlight, a discovery beckons us forward. A carving, worn by time yet still sharp in its meaning, etched upon the forgotten wall. It is a symbol that has been hidden, waiting for centuries to be remembered. A goddess, her arms outstretched in a perfect circle, cradling the earth, a sphere, not flat, but round, encircled by the divine. In that moment, a soft breath catches in the air. The realization unfurls quietly, like the petals of a long-forgotten flower. The Egyptians, long before the Greeks and Romans, understood the earth to be round. This was not mere speculation or myth, but a profound truth etched into their sacred spaces. The very shape of the earth, like the sun's path across the sky, was part of the eternal rhythm, the cosmic dance that moved through the universe. Beneath our feet, the stone echoes with this knowledge. The temple walls, adorned with symbols of stars, gods, and celestial movements, seem to come alive with the quiet hum of a deeper understanding. The alignment of these temples, their walls etched with patterns that echo the constellations above, was no mere accident. It is said that the Egyptians believed the earth was not a flat, unchanging surface, but a living, breathing entity, held within the arms of a goddess, ever turning within the vast circle of the cosmos.
We wander through the halls of Karnak, each step taking us deeper into the heart of the sacred geometry that governs all life. The walls seem to pulse with a rhythm, each carving, each inscription a silent note in the great symphony of the universe. Here, in this sacred space, the boundaries between earth and sky blur. The gods are not distant, they are here, in the stones, in the stars, in the very air we breathe. The stars, it seems, are not just distant points of light, but markers of a divine order, each one aligned, each one part of a larger, perfect design. The Egyptians, with their knowledge of the heavens, understood the connection between the earth and the celestial bodies. They mapped the stars not just as points of reference, but as part of the sacred geometry that governed their world. They saw the earth not as a flat, unmoving thing, but as part of a larger cosmic cycle, a living sphere held in balance by the eternal dance of the sun and the stars. As the moon rises over the desert, its pale light casting soft shadows upon the stone, we find ourselves standing at the very center of this knowledge. The sun, in its journey across the sky, was not simply a force that illuminated the day. It was the heartbeat of the universe, a symbol of the constant cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The earth, in its roundness, was part of this rhythm, turning with the same quiet grace as the sun's own journey. The journey through Karnak continues, and with each step, the understanding deepens. The earth is not a static, unmoving place. It is alive, turning, revolving, cradled by the goddess who holds it in her embrace. The temples themselves, with their intricate alignments, seem to echo this truth. The Egyptians understood that the very shape of the earth, its roundness, its motion, was not separate from the celestial bodies that moved above. They were all connected, all part of the same sacred cycle. In the quiet of the temple, as the last rays of the sun fade into the night, we are left with the reverence of the ancients, the understanding that the earth, like the heavens above, is part of an eternal, unbroken rhythm. The roundness of the earth, its connection to the stars, the sun, and the gods, is not a simple truth to be discovered, but a mystery to be lived. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps it was always meant to be felt, like the soft hum of the earth beneath our feet, the whisper of the stars above. As we stand in the temple, the silence settles deeply within us. We are not here to answer questions, but to seek a deeper understanding, a spiritual truth that transcends time. The earth, round and eternal, moves with the same quiet grace as the sun's journey. And in that movement, in that quiet turning, we find a profound connection to something greater, a harmony that exists between the heavens and the earth, between the stars and the sands. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the truth is not something that can be fully grasped by the mind, but something that can only be felt in the heart. The circle of the sky and the earth, the sacred geometry that holds them together, is a truth beyond words, a truth that only whispers in the silence, like the soft breath of the wind through the stones. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps in the stillness of this night, as we stand in the heart of Karnak, we have heard the faintest whisper of the ancient wisdom that still lives in the stones, in the stars, and in the very earth beneath our feet. As the last light of the sun fades into the horizon, and the stars rise to take their place in the sky, we are left in the soft, sacred silence. The earth, round and eternal, turns beneath the moon's watchful gaze, and the stars trace their ancient paths across the heavens. All is in motion, all is in harmony, and the knowledge of the ancients lingers like a dream, just beyond the reach of the mind. It is a truth that exists not in understanding, but in the quiet reverence of the moment, when we are still, when we are open, and when we listen to the silence. And so the mystery remains, like the circle itself, unbroken, eternal, and ever turning. The Great Pyramid of Giza rises from the endless sands, its stones worn and weathered by millennia of sun and wind. There, under the vast Egyptian sky, it stands still, yet full of motion, a silent sentinel to an age-long past. The pyramid's perfect form, its sharp edges slicing through the heavy air, seems to hum with an energy only the ancient world could understand. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the land, the great monument seems to stretch beyond time, reaching upward toward the heavens. The last golden rays of daylight glimmer across the stone, and for a brief moment, the world holds its breath. We are drawn toward it, quietly, reverently. The Great Pyramid calls not just to the eyes, but to the soul, a mystery that has tugged at the hearts of men for centuries. We stand at its base, where the earth meets the sky, where stone meets starlight. The sheer size of it overwhelms, and yet there is something else, a knowing, as if the pyramid were not merely built to mark the resting place of a pharaoh, but something more sacred, something eternal. The pyramid is not just a tomb, we begin to understand. No, this structure is a map of the heavens, a celestial chart guiding those who seek the stars. Its four sides, perfectly aligned, seem to reach out into the very corners of the world, as though each side is stretching toward a different point of the compass, embracing the earth in its entirety. The Great Pyramid, then, is not simply a structure of stone, it is a reflection of the earth itself, its proportions mirroring the very shape of the world. Could it be, we wonder, that the Egyptians, in their sacred wisdom, built the pyramid not just as a monument to a king, but as a symbol of something far greater? Perhaps the pyramid was meant to reflect the roundness of the earth, its four sides not merely marking directions, but speaking to the spherical nature of the world itself. The lines of the pyramid stretch outwards silently, as if reaching for the farthest stars, carrying with them the truth that the earth was never flat, but a living sphere turning gently in space. Beneath the soft light of the rising moon, we begin to trace the lines of the pyramid with our eyes, following its perfect edges, its precision that seems to defy time and reason. How could they have known? The Egyptians, with their profound knowledge of geometry and astronomy, built this great structure to align with the stars in ways we are only beginning to understand. The pyramid's corners seem to touch the very heavens, as though each stone was placed not by the hands of men, but guided by the hand of the divine. The precision of the angles, the placement of each stone, the alignment with the celestial bodies, all of it speaks of a knowledge that reaches far beyond the earthly realm.
We stand before the pyramid, our breath slow and steady, our minds awash with wonder. The stars above, twinkling softly in the night sky, seem to answer the pyramid's call. The Egyptians, with their wisdom of the stars, understood the movements of the heavens in ways that were both practical and spiritual. Their knowledge of the cycles of the sun, the moon, and the stars was not simply for navigation or calendar keeping. It was woven into their very understanding of the world, an understanding that would come to shape their monuments, their temples, and their cities. The pyramid itself, with its precise alignment, is a reflection of the cosmos, an earthly echo of the celestial dance. And as we stand here in the quiet of the night, beneath the gaze of the stars, the connection becomes clear. The Egyptians, through their profound understanding of geometry and the stars, knew that the earth was not flat, but round. They understood that the earth was a living sphere, suspended in space, turning with the same gentle grace as the sun itself. Their greatest achievement, this pyramid, was not just a tomb, not just a monument to one man, but a reflection of the sacred truth of the earth's shape, a truth that would not be fully understood by the world until centuries later. We feel a quiet reverence in this moment, a reverence for the ancient wisdom that has been lost, and for the knowledge that perhaps was never meant to be found, but only remembered. The pyramid, with its perfect symmetry and celestial alignment, holds a secret, not one of mystery, but of understanding. Perhaps it was never meant to be a riddle to be solved, but rather a truth to be felt, to be understood in the quiet moments when we too listen to the world around us. As we continue to gaze up at the stars, the silence deepens and the realization settles within us. The Egyptians, with their mastery of the heavens, saw the earth not as a flat, stationary place, but as part of a grand spherical cycle. The pyramid, with its sharp, unyielding edges, is not simply a tomb or a monument. It is a reflection of the earth's turning, a symbol of the eternal dance of the cosmos, of the roundness of the earth and the movements of the stars above. The night grows deeper, and the stars twinkle more brightly, as if in response to the quiet reverence of the moment. There is no need for words now. The pyramid stands, timeless, silent, as it has for millennia. The earth beneath our feet continues to turn, slow and steady, with the same precision as the Great Pyramid itself. The stars continue their journey across the sky, just as they did when the pyramid was first built, just as they will continue to do long after we are gone. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the truth of the pyramid was always meant to be felt, like a breath held in the silence of the night, like the quiet hum of the earth beneath us.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, with its perfect alignment to the stars, its mathematical precision, its reflection of the Earth's roundness, is not just a structure of stone. It is a whisper of the ancient wisdom of the Egyptians, a reminder that the Earth is not flat, but a living sphere held in balance by the eternal cycles of the cosmos. The pyramid stands alone, its silhouette sharp against the starry sky, and in its silence we feel the deep resonance of something sacred, something timeless, something that is part of the very fabric of the universe. It is said that some mysteries are meant to be felt, not understood, and as we stand beneath the stars before the Great Pyramid, we are left with the quiet sense that we too are part of the Earth's turning, part of the cosmic dance that the ancient Egyptians understood so deeply. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully discovered, but to be known in the stillness, in the space between breaths. Some voices, after all, only echo when we are ready to listen, and tonight, beneath the stars, we listen.
In the stillness of the desert, the earth breathes beneath a boundless sky. The golden sands stretch far, undisturbed, curling gently in the wind's embrace. The sun hangs low, casting long shadows across the land, and as it dips beneath the horizon, the line between earth and sky fades into a quiet, infinite silence. Here, where the desert meets the heavens, there is no sound, no movement, only a vast, timeless emptiness. The air is thick with the dust of ages, heavy with the weight of forgotten stories. It is said that the ancient Egyptians stood here, at this very edge, where the earth kisses the sky, and they saw not just a boundary, but a veil, a soft, invisible barrier that marks the meeting point of two worlds. To them, it was not a limit, but a place where the earthly and the divine meet, where the mysteries of the heavens unfolded before them. In their quiet wisdom, the Egyptians understood something that few others could perceive. To them, the horizon was not a flat, static line. It was a curve, a delicate arch suggesting the shape of the world itself, round, alive, turning gently in the dance of time. As the sun sets behind the horizon, the colors of the desert shift, the earth and sky blending into shades of amber and violet. The wind picks up again, gently sweeping across the sand, as though carrying whispers of an ancient truth. The Egyptians, attuned to the rhythms of the universe, saw beyond what others could see. They knew that the earth was not flat, as many believed, but round. The horizon, they realized, curved away from them, disappearing into the distance like the edge of a great circle. In the quiet of the evening, the desert feels alive with this knowledge, though it is unspoken. The Egyptians did not need grand gestures or loud proclamations to understand the world. Instead, they read the stars, the sun's movements, and the shift of the sand beneath their feet. Even the horizon, with its delicate curve, was a symbol, a clue to the great celestial dance that governed all things. As the sun sank lower, casting the land in a soft, fading light, the roundness of the world was not just a theory, but a truth woven into the fabric of the cosmos. The journey unfolds slowly, as the Egyptians in their daily lives observed the world with deep reverence. The earth, the sky, the stars, and the seasons were not separate entities, but part of a unified whole, a cosmic rhythm that held everything in delicate balance. The sun rose in the east, traveled across the sky, and set in the west, only to rise again, as it had done for eons. And beneath it, the earth turned slowly, turning with the same quiet grace, like a wheel spinning in harmony with the stars. Their temples, built with perfect geometry, reflected this cosmic order, their walls adorned with the symbols of the gods and the stars.
The Egyptians, with their deep understanding of the natural world, had long known that the earth was a living sphere, suspended in the vastness of the cosmos. They could read the heavens as easily as they read the earth beneath their feet, and in their quiet wisdom, they built their monuments not just to honor their gods, but to mirror the universe itself, a reflection of the harmony that existed between earth and sky, between the physical and the spiritual. As the sky deepens, the stars begin to emerge, their light flickering softly against the dark canvas above. The horizon, once a boundary, now feels like a bridge, a gateway between the earth and the stars. The Egyptians, ever attuned to the subtle rhythms of the universe, saw in the heavens a reflection of the earth below, a living, breathing world suspended in the quiet embrace of the cosmos. The stars, like the grains of sand in the desert, were part of the same endless cycle, a rhythm that moved through everything, connecting all things in a great cosmic dance. The stars moved in their arcs across the sky, and the moon, rising silently over the desert, bathed the land in a soft silvery glow. In this quiet moment, the unity between the earth and the heavens is felt deeply. The Egyptians understood this unity, this sacred connection between all things. The earth with its quiet turning, the sky with its endless stars, and the moon rising over the desert, it was all part of the same sacred whole. The Egyptians saw the world not as separate, isolated parts, but as one continuous living entity, turning together in perfect harmony. And so, as we stand here, in the stillness of the desert, beneath the quiet gaze of the stars, we too are drawn into this understanding. The horizon, once a line that separated the earth from the sky, now feels like a bridge, a veil through which the divine and the earthly meet. The earth, round and turning, moves in quiet unity with the stars above, and we too are part of this cosmic dance. The ancient Egyptians knew this truth, felt it in their bones, and through their wisdom they passed it down through the ages, not through loud declarations, but through the quiet, sacred rhythm of the earth and sky. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the knowledge of the earth's roundness was never meant to be discovered by force, but to be felt in the stillness, in the quiet observation of the natural world. Some truths are not meant to be spoken, but to be understood through the delicate unfolding of time, like the slow turning of the earth itself. As the stars shimmer overhead, the night grows deeper, and the desert falls into silence once again. The horizon, now a soft, distant curve, marks the edge of the earth, but no longer as a boundary. It is a doorway, an entrance to something larger, something greater. And as we listen to the wind, carrying the whispers of ancient wisdom, we are left suspended in wonder. The Egyptians understood the unity of earth and sky, and in this quiet moment, beneath the vast, eternal stars, we too are reminded of the sacred connection between all things. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. The earth, with its roundness, the sky, with its endless stars, and the soft, silent turning of time, they speak to us in the stillness, in the spaces between breaths, in the quiet rhythm of the universe that surrounds us. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, but only felt, as the ancient Egyptians did, with quiet reverence, with wonder, and with a deep connection to the cosmos. And as the desert sleeps beneath the stars, we too rest in the peaceful embrace of this ancient wisdom, where the earth and the sky meet, not as separate things, but as one eternal turning whole. In the stillness of the desert night, where the vastness of the world stretches beyond sight, the sands cradle the quiet of eternity. The only sounds are the gentle whispers of the wind, carrying ancient secrets across the land. The air is cool, carrying the faintest scent of dust as the night sky unfolds above, endless and deep. Here, beneath the heavens, the Egyptians, with their eyes turned upward, observed the celestial dance with reverence and awe. It is said that when the moon rose full and high, casting its pale light upon the desert, the people of Egypt would gather in silence. They knew that the night sky was more than just a map of stars. It was a reflection of something greater, a cosmic mirror to the world below. Tonight, as the moon hangs low, its bright face begins to dim, slowly, as if being veiled by a shadow from the earth. The shadow creeps across the moon's surface, casting a soft, translucent veil upon its face. A lunar eclipse, the ancient Egyptians would have whispered in awe. It was in this moment, under the watchful gaze of the stars, that they saw the Earth's shadow, the great sphere of the world, cast upon the moon. The moon, once bright and full, now appears as though it is caught between two worlds. The shadow moves gently, creeping across the face of the moon in perfect alignment. The Egyptians, who charted the heavens with a reverence born of ancient wisdom, saw this not as an event of fear or mystery, but as a sacred symbol of balance, of harmony between the heavens and the earth. In this quiet moment, the earth and the moon seem to embrace, the shadow falling over the moon like a cosmic gesture, a reminder of the unity between all things. To the Egyptians, this celestial event was not just an astronomical occurrence, but a sacred dance, a dance that had been unfolding for eons, always in perfect harmony, always moving in rhythm with the stars. As we linger in the silence of the desert night, we can feel the weight of the ancient Egyptians' awe. They knew that the moon's dance with the earth was not an isolated event, but part of a greater cosmic movement. The stars above, like distant fireflies, mark the pathways that the Egyptians followed, not only to navigate their world, but to understand it, to see the earth as a living sphere suspended in the infinite rhythm of the cosmos. Their knowledge of the heavens was more than scientific, it was spiritual, a sacred understanding of the delicate balance that governs the universe. The shadow on the moon, shifting ever so slowly, becomes a symbol, the Earth's form made visible through the eclipse, revealing its roundness in a moment of perfect stillness. The Egyptians, with their deep connection to the natural world, could see beyond the surface of things. To them, the Earth was not a flat, stationary object, but a living, turning sphere. They understood the movement of the heavens in a way that connected the earth and the sky, the physical and the spiritual, as one continuous cycle. As the eclipse reaches its peak, the shadow fully embraces the moon, casting it in a deep, mysterious hue. The light that remains around the edges of the moon glows softly, like the last whispers of daylight, a reminder of the harmony that persists even in darkness. The Egyptians, in their quiet reverence, would have watched this moment with awe. For them, the eclipse was not a sign of darkness or fear, but a moment of sacred reflection, a moment to pause and understand that the world itself, though mysterious, was part of a greater eternal rhythm. In the silence, as the shadow slowly begins to fade, the moon returns to its full brightness, restored by the eternal motion of the cosmos. The eclipse, in its delicate unfolding, is a reminder of the perfect order that governs the universe, a balance between the earth, the moon, and the stars. The Egyptians understood this balance, and in their reverence for the cosmos, they saw in the eclipse a reflection of the earth itself, round, turning, and suspended in the dance of the heavens.
And so, beneath the quiet gaze of the stars, we too are left with a deep sense of wonder. The shadow of the earth upon the moon is not just an event, but a symbol of the unity that binds all things together, a symbol that the earth is not flat, but a living, breathing sphere. turning gently in the cosmic dance. The Egyptians, in their wisdom, could see this truth long before others understood it. They knew that the earth was part of something greater, something eternal, something that moved in perfect harmony with the stars above. As the night deepens and the moonlight once again bathes the desert in soft silver light, the shadow has faded, leaving only the quiet stillness of the desert night. The stars above twinkle softly, marking the endless dance of the heavens, while the earth below turns slowly, silently in the embrace of the cosmos. The ancient Egyptians understood this rhythm, and as we close our eyes, we are left with the soft echo of their wisdom, a wisdom that saw the earth as a living sphere, turning gently beneath the stars, part of a greater, eternal cycle. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the Earth's shadow on the moon was always meant to be a quiet reminder of something far greater, something that cannot be fully grasped, but only felt. Some mysteries only reveal themselves when we are ready to listen, when we are still enough to hear the whispers of the cosmos. And as the night deepens and the earth continues its gentle turn, we are left suspended in that quiet wonder, the shadow of the earth upon the moon, a reminder of the eternal balance that holds the world together, turning in harmony with the stars. In the deep silence of an ancient world, where the dust of time clings to every stone and the sands hold the secrets of forgotten ages, there lies a symbol. It is a symbol of protection, a talisman worn by kings, etched upon the walls of temples and passed down through generations, the Eye of Horus. Its shape, simple yet profound, has long been understood as a divine mark, a guardian of the soul and a shield against harm. But beneath its surface, hidden in plain sight, there lies something far deeper, a truth woven into its lines, a secret that stretches far beyond the physical world. We begin in the heart of the temple, where the air is thick with the scent of incense, the walls heavy with the weight of memory. A single beam of light from the setting sun filters through the high stone arches, casting long shadows across the floor, illuminating the symbols that cover the walls. Among them, the Eye of Horus stands out, etched into the very stone as though it has always been there, as though it were meant to be found at this precise moment in time. Its shape is perfect, a circle, a curve that mirrors the very shape of the universe itself. As we step closer, we trace the lines of the eye with our gaze, feeling the subtle rhythm of its form. The curve of the eye, its arching lines, and the gentle sweep of the lashes all pull us inward, drawing us into its depths. And as we look closer still, we begin to notice something that was hidden before. The circle, the perfect balance of the eye, mirrors the earth itself. The Egyptians, in their sacred wisdom, saw the earth not as a flat, two-dimensional place, but as a living, spherical entity, a circle, whole and unbroken, with no edge to fall from, no end, only a continuous flow of existence. It is said that the Eye of Horus represents the god's protective force, guarding against all that is dark and harmful. Yet, in its form, it also represents something more, something that reaches beyond the physical world and touches the divine. The eye, with its round, unbroken shape, embodies the very essence of balance. The earth, like the eye, moves through space in a delicate, perfect orbit, never straying too far from its path, always revolving with a grace and rhythm that is both sacred and natural. The Egyptians knew this, understood this truth, and through the Eye of Horus, they reflected that knowledge back onto the world, marking the earth and the heavens with a sacred harmony that connects all things.
As we walk through the temple, the walls seem to hum with the energy of this truth.
each symbol a thread woven into a larger cosmic tapestry. The Eye of Horus is not just a symbol of protection, but a symbol of unity, a reminder that the earth, like the divine, is part of a grand, unified cycle. The same circle that shapes the eye shapes the world, and in that circle, the divine and the earthly are perfectly balanced. The sun rises, the moon sets, the stars trace their eternal paths across the sky, and the earth continues its gentle revolution, moving ever onward, suspended in the vastness of space. The journey now takes us beyond the earthly, into the divine realm, where the celestial bodies spin in their perfect orbits, where the stars themselves form patterns that echo the harmony of the earth. The Egyptians, with their deep knowledge of the cosmos, understood that the earth was not an isolated, finite thing, but part of a greater, infinite whole. The Eye of Horus, in its simplicity, encapsulates this truth. The earth, the stars, the gods, all are part of a continuous cycle where the physical and the divine exist in perfect balance. We stand now in the quiet of the temple, the walls around us soft in the fading light of dusk. The Eye of Horus stares back at us, its circle encompassing all that is, the divine, the earthly, the eternal. In this moment, the boundaries between the two worlds seem to fade, and we are left with the understanding that they are not separate, but intertwined, each one reflecting the other in a sacred dance. The earth turns in its orbit, as steady as the eye that watches over it. The gods, the stars, the moon, and the sun all move together, part of a grand, unified cycle that has been turning for eons and will continue to turn long after we have gone.
And so, as we leave the temple, the echo of the Eye of Horus lingers with us, a quiet reminder of the harmony that exists between the earthly and the divine. The earth, like the eye, is a circle, whole, balanced, and eternal. There is no edge to fall from, only the gentle turn of time, the steady motion of the world as it moves through the cosmos. The ancient Egyptians, with their wisdom, understood this. They saw the earth not as flat, but as round, suspended in the vastness of the universe, a part of the great cosmic dance that connects all things. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the knowledge of the earth's roundness was always there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who were ready to see it. Some truths are not meant to be discovered through force, but through quiet observation, through the reverence that comes from understanding the deep rhythms of the world. And in that understanding, there is peace. There is quiet knowing, a sense of balance that exists beyond words. As we step out into the night, the moon hanging low in the sky, we are left with the soft, sacred rhythm of the earth beneath our feet, turning gently like the Eye of Horus, always in balance, always whole. The stars twinkle above, their light a reflection of the harmony that exists between all things, the divine and the earthly, the heavens and the earth. The eye watches over us, as it always has, a symbol of protection, of balance, of the unity that connects all things. And in the quiet of the night, beneath the stars and the soft moonlight, we rest in the peace of this understanding, knowing that we are part of a great eternal cycle, one that has been turning since the beginning of time and will continue to turn, ever onward, ever in balance. Beneath the blanket of a starlit sky, the desert lies in perfect silence. The ancient sands stretch endlessly, where time itself seems to fade into the vastness of the horizon. Here, Beneath the watchful eyes of the stars, the ancient Egyptians found their connection to something much larger than the world around them. The wind shifts the dust in soft, secretive whispers, as if the land itself holds stories, ancient and forgotten. And within this sacred silence, the Egyptians, in their reverence for the divine, saw more than just the earth. They saw a living, breathing cycle, forever turning, always returning. It is said that beneath the great expanse of the desert sky, the serpent slithered through their dreams and their rituals. The serpent, whose curved form seemed to echo the very shape of the earth itself. Its coil wrapped the world, tight and eternal, tracing the path of life and death, wisdom and rebirth. It is a symbol, in its ancient wisdom, of duality, both creation and destruction, the eternal balance that moves through the universe. The Egyptians, who saw the world not as separate from the divine, but intertwined with it, worshipped the serpent with quiet reverence. Its form, winding and curling, mirrored the endless cycle of time, the very flow of existence itself. One evening, as the soft glow of the moon bathed the sands in silver, a discovery was made. In the heart of a crumbled temple, buried beneath layers of dust and memory, an ancient inscription was uncovered. It depicted a serpent, its body coiled tightly around the world. The lines of the serpent were delicate yet strong, its body curving like the smooth contours of the earth itself. The serpent's coil seemed to echo the soft curvature of the world, as though the two were inextricably linked, bound in the sacred dance of life and death. The Egyptians believed the serpent to be more than a mere creature of the earth. It was a symbol of the cycles of nature, the turning of the seasons, the rhythm of life and death, the eternal movement of time. But beyond this, the serpent was also seen as a guardian, a protector of wisdom, of secrets hidden deep within the earth. It was said that the serpent held the knowledge of the gods, the mysteries of the universe, wrapped in its coils. And as the Egyptians gazed upon this sacred symbol, they saw the earth, round and eternal, turning in a great cosmic rhythm. Beneath the silence of the desert night, the serpent's coil whispers of a greater order, a cosmic dance that binds all things. As the story of the serpent unfolds, the landscape shifts around us, and we see the earth as the Egyptians did, not as a flat, static plane, but as a living, breathing sphere. The serpent's coil, like the earth, is round and cyclical, forever turning, forever living. There is no beginning and no end, only the eternal movement of life, constantly shifting, constantly returning. The serpent winds through time, its coil a reminder that life itself is an endless cycle where birth leads to death and death leads to rebirth. As the stars above move through their eternal arcs, we realize that the Egyptians understood this cycle deeply. The earth, like the serpent, was not a place of permanence, but a place of constant change, a world forever turning, forever renewing itself. Just as the serpent sheds its skin, so too does the earth shed its old ways, embracing new cycles, new rhythms, ever turning in harmony with the stars. The Egyptians, who saw the heavens as a reflection of the earth, understood that the celestial bodies, the sun, the moon, the stars, moved in the same great circle that governed life on earth. The sun rose and set,
The moon waxed and waned, and the stars traced their patterns across the night sky. All of this, they believed, was part of a sacred order, a divine rhythm that echoed through the earth, through time, and through the universe. The journey through this mythic landscape reveals the depth of the Egyptians' understanding. They did not see the earth as a static object in space, but as a living, dynamic part of a greater cosmic system. The earth was not flat, it was round, turning gently beneath the gaze of the gods. Just as the serpent coils around the world, so too does the earth coil in its eternal cycle. The serpent's form, winding and flowing, reflected the earth's motion, its turning ever onward, its cycle ever returning. The Egyptians, in their deep reverence for the cosmos, understood this connection, seeing the earth and the heavens as part of a greater whole.
In the quiet of the temple, beneath the weight of the stars, there is a moment of peace. The winds settle, the sands grow still, and the silence of the desert becomes a sacred space. The serpent's coil, now fully revealed, holds the earth within its embrace. The world, like the serpent, is forever turning, forever living, and in that turn there is balance, there is unity. The divine and the earthly are one. The earth, like the serpent, is eternal, winding through time in a great cosmic dance. The journey into the heart of the desert under the watchful gaze of the moon leaves us with a quiet understanding. The earth, like the serpent, is not something to be understood in the conventional sense. It is something to be felt, to be experienced, to be revered. The serpent's coil wraps the earth in its protective embrace, guarding it against the chaos of time. The cycles of life and death, of creation and destruction, move through the earth like the gentle turning of the serpent's body. And as the moon rises higher, casting a soft silver glow over the desert, we are left with the quiet peace of knowing that the earth, like the serpent, is eternal, always turning, always living, always part of the great cosmic rhythm. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the earth's coil, like the serpent, has always been here, waiting to be understood not through intellect, but through silence, through reverence, through quiet observation. Some truths only reveal themselves when we are ready to listen, when we can hear the whispers of the serpent's coil in the wind, in the sand, in the rhythm of the earth itself. And as the night deepens and the stars continue their silent dance across the sky, we are left with the quiet peace of knowing that the earth, like the serpent, is eternal, always turning, always living, always part of the great cosmic rhythm. In the stillness of the ancient land, where the golden sands meet the endless sky, the Nile flows like a living thread through the heart of Egypt. Beneath the cool, silver gaze of the moon, it stretches, winding its way through the desert, its waters shimmering in the soft, fading light. The river is more than a lifeline to the people of this land. It is sacred. It is eternal. The Egyptians, in their quiet reverence, understood that the river's path was not simply the course of water. It was a reflection of something much grander, something woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. The Nile, with its gentle curves, mirrored the curve of the earth itself. It was a sacred path, a bridge between the heavens and the earth, where the natural world and the divine met in perfect harmony. It is said that the Egyptians, with their deep understanding of nature, saw the river as the heart of their world. To them, the Nile was not merely a source of life, but a living embodiment of the universe's sacred geometry. Its flow, as it wound its way from the highlands to the delta, echoed the great circle of the earth. The river's curves, like the earth's, were not random or chaotic. They were deliberate, sacred, and perfect, a reflection of the world's roundness, a reminder that the earth itself was a living sphere, forever turning, forever in motion. As we stand on the banks of the Nile, the soft ripple of the water flowing past us, we feel the quiet rhythm of the river. The soft murmur of the current seems to speak of time itself, of the turning of the earth, the changing of the seasons. The river stretches out before us, its gentle curves reflecting the curve of the horizon, a line that seems to stretch forever, blurring the boundary between earth and sky. The land, bathed in the pale light of the moon, feels endless, suspended in time. In the distance, the great pyramids stand as silent sentinels, their forms bathed in the quiet glow of the night. The land, the river, and the sky, all are part of the same great design, the same sacred geometry that connects the heavens and the earth. As the river flows, so too does time. The Egyptians saw this. They saw that the flow of the Nile, with its winding curves, was not unlike the eternal motion of the stars above. Just as the stars trace their arcs across the sky, so too does the river trace its path across the land. The river, with its gentle turns and bends, moves in rhythm with the universe, a reflection of the celestial order. The Egyptians understood that the river was not simply water moving across the land, but a part of a greater cosmic cycle, a symbol of life's eternal flow, always in motion, always returning. In its curves, the river mirrored the shape of the earth, and in its flow, it mirrored the flow of time itself.
In this quiet meditation, we see how the Egyptians understood the world as a sacred circle, ever turning, ever living. The earth, like the river, was not static. It was a sphere, forever in motion, spinning through space with the same gentle rhythm that the Nile follows. The earth, like the river, was a path, a sacred journey that moved in harmony with the stars. The Egyptians, through their sacred knowledge of geometry and the natural world, understood this, and in the flow of the Nile, they saw the reflection of the universe itself. The river, with its perfect curves, was a map of the heavens, a mirror of the earth's roundness, a bridge between the physical world and the divine. As we journey along the banks of the river, the night deepens, and the soft hum of the world around us grows quiet. The stars above begin to shine more brightly, their light reflecting off the water's surface, casting long, ethereal shadows on the land. The river, now flowing beneath the quiet days of the stars, feels both ancient and eternal. Its course has remained unchanged for millennia, its rhythm a constant reminder of the flow of time. The river, like the earth, moves in a circle, never straying from its path, always returning to where it began. In its curves, we see the cycle of life itself: birth, death,
and rebirth, each bend a reminder that all things are part of an unbroken circle, a continuous flow. And as we watch the river's course, we begin to understand. The Egyptians did not see the earth as flat, as many once believed. They saw it as a sphere, turning gently in the vastness of the cosmos. The Nile, with its winding path, was a reflection of this truth, a symbol of the earth's roundness, a sacred path that moved in perfect harmony with the stars. The Egyptians understood that the earth, like the river, was a living entity, forever in motion, turning in rhythm with the universe. As the night deepens and the stars continue their silent journey across the sky, we are left with a quiet understanding. The Nile, like the earth, is a circle, a symbol of life's eternal flow. The river winds its way through the land, carrying with it the knowledge of the ancients, the wisdom of the gods. The earth, like the river, turns in a gentle spiral, always moving, always living, and in the stillness of the night, beneath the stars, we are left with the sense that the earth, like the river, is part of a great cosmic cycle, a sacred dance that stretches through time and space, forever turning, forever in motion. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the secret geometry of the Nile, like the secrets of the earth itself, was always meant to be felt, not grasped. Some truths, after all, are not meant to be spoken, but are woven into the fabric of the world around us, waiting to be discovered in the quiet spaces between breaths, in the rhythm of the land and the stars. And as we close our eyes beneath the vast Egyptian sky, we rest in the peaceful understanding that the earth, like the river, is a circle, eternal, sacred, and ever turning. In the soft, sacred quiet of the desert night, the world is bathed in silver light. The earth, warm from the day's sun, is now cooling under the gentle touch of the moon. The stars begin to sparkle like distant eternal whispers, dotting the sky with their ancient secrets. Here, in this vast silence, beneath the endless canopy of stars, the Egyptians gathered, their eyes lifted to the heavens, where the cosmos unfolded before them like a living tapestry. It is said that in these sacred moments, the Egyptians saw not just the stars, but a great symphony playing across the sky. The constellations, stretching from horizon to horizon, twinkled like the notes of an ancient song, their patterns woven into the fabric of the universe. The moon, high above, bathed the earth in its ethereal glow, and the stillness of the desert felt alive with the pulse of the universe. The air was thick with the weight of time, and the stars seemed to shimmer as though beckoning the Egyptians to listen, to hear the deep cosmic song that connected the heavens with the earth. As we sit beneath this starlit sky, the ancient Egyptians believed that the stars were not fixed in place, as we might think today. No, the stars were part of something greater, a cosmic dance, a grand rhythm that moved through the universe. They were not mere points of light, distant and removed, but living parts of a greater whole. The Egyptians, with their deep understanding of the natural world, recognized that the stars mirrored the movements of the earth. They saw the patterns above not as mere coincidence, but as a reflection of the earth's own shape, round, harmonious, and eternal.
The constellations arched across the sky, tracing paths that seemed to loop and spiral, echoing the curves of the earth below. In the stillness of the night, the stars themselves seemed to hum with a sacred rhythm. The Egyptians, with their reverence for the heavens, understood this cosmic music, and in their minds they saw the earth as part of that symphony. The earth, like the stars, was spherical, round, turning, moving in the eternal dance of time and space. As we follow this celestial music, we are drawn deeper into the mystery. The stars, like the earth, move in a great circle. They do not simply hover in the sky, but swirl in a cosmic spiral, each one part of a grand design, each one reflecting the Earth's own motion. The Egyptians saw this. They knew that the stars and the Earth were not separate, but part of a larger harmony. The Earth, like the heavens above, was round, turning in perfect rhythm with the stars. The stars were not fixed, but moved in a grand cycle, just as the Earth itself turned, ever spinning through the vastness of space.
The Egyptians were not the first to observe the stars. They were not the first to see the shapes they formed in the night sky, but they were among the first to understand that these patterns held more than simple beauty. The stars, like the earth, were part of a divine harmony, a cosmic dance that had been unfolding since the dawn of time. The earth, the stars, and the gods were not separate entities, but part of the same great cycle, forever turning, forever in motion. The Egyptians understood that the shape of the earth was not flat, as many had once believed, but spherical, round, like the stars themselves. As we journey further, we come to understand that the Egyptians, through their reverence for the stars, saw the earth's shape long before the Greeks and Romans ever considered it. Their knowledge was not based on logic alone, but on a deep spiritual understanding of the cosmos. The stars, the moon, the sun, all moved in perfect harmony, and the earth, like the heavens, was part of that eternal, unbroken rhythm. The Egyptians saw the earth not as a place of separation, but as a living, breathing part of the universe, spinning gently through space in a great sacred dance. The earth, like the stars, was round. It was not flat, not fixed. It was a sphere, turning in perfect harmony with the stars. The Egyptians knew this truth not through scientific observation, but through their connection to the cosmos. They understood the earth's shape through the patterns of the stars, through the quiet hum of the universe that echoed through the desert night. In the stars, they saw the reflection of the earth, and in the earth they saw the stars. The two were not separate, but part of the same cosmic rhythm, forever turning together, forever in harmony. As we sit beneath the silent stars, we are left with a quiet, reverent understanding. The Egyptians, in their wisdom, saw the earth as part of a larger cosmic order. They understood that the earth, like the stars, was round, a sphere, moving gently through space. The stars, in their eternal dance, mirrored the earth's own motion, tracing the path of the heavens in perfect harmony. And as the night deepens and the stars twinkle more brightly above, we are left with the sense that the earth, like the stars, is part of a divine music, a song that stretches through time, forever in motion, forever in harmony. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the truth of the earth's shape, like the stars themselves, was always there, hidden in plain sight. The Egyptians knew this truth, not with words, but with their hearts. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen,
when we are still enough to hear the rhythm of the earth, the music of the stars. And as the stars twinkle softly in the dark sky, we rest in the quiet understanding that the earth, like the stars, is part of a great cosmic cycle, forever in motion, forever in harmony.
In the stillness of a moonlit desert, beneath a sky heavy with the weight of stars, there stands an ancient temple. Its stone walls, weathered by centuries of time, seem to whisper the secrets of a civilization long past. The air is thick with silence, broken only by the occasional gust of wind that sweeps across the sands, carrying with it the soft hum of the earth. Here, within this sacred space, the ancient Egyptians once gathered, their hearts heavy with reverence, their eyes cast upwards toward the heavens. As we step into the cool, shadowed interior of the temple, the flickering light of torch flames dances across the walls. Carvings of gods and kings are etched into the stone, their forms bathed in the soft golden glow. Among these symbols, one stands apart, the figure of Osiris, god of life, death, and rebirth. His form is serene, his arms outstretched, as if embracing the very essence of the cosmic cycle. The symbol of Osiris is both sacred and eternal, and representation of the endless rhythm of life itself. In his death and resurrection, Osiris embodies the great cycle, life giving way to death, and death giving rise to new life. It is said that the Egyptians saw in Osiris a mirror of the earth itself. His death, when his body was torn asunder by his brother Set, was a reflection of the earth's own cycles of destruction and renewal. Yet, even in his death, there was the promise of rebirth, for Osiris would rise again, just as the earth does each year. The cycles of nature, the changing of the seasons, the ebb and flow of the Nile, the dying and the coming of life were mirrored in Osiris's journey. Through him, the Egyptians understood that life and death are not opposites, but two parts of the same sacred dance. As we walk deeper into the temple, we begin to see the world through the eyes of the Egyptians. The walls are lined with images of the gods, their forms both earthly and divine, their movements reflecting the eternal rhythm of the cosmos. Osiris, like the earth, was not static. His form, ever-changing, ever-shifting, reflected the living, breathing quality of the world itself. The earth, like Osiris, was not a flat, unmoving place, but a living, spherical being, forever caught in the dance between life and death, between creation and destruction. The earth, much like Osiris, was always turning, always revolving, caught in the eternal cycle of existence. As we stand in the temple's inner sanctum, surrounded by the quiet wisdom of the ancients, the meaning of Osiris's symbol becomes clear. His death and resurrection are not merely myths, they are reflections of the deeper truths embedded in the earth's own rhythms.
The Egyptians, in their wisdom, understood that the earth itself was not a place of permanence, but of change. The cycles of the Nile, the turning of the seasons, the rising and setting of the sun, all of these mirrored the cycles of Osiris, and through him the Egyptians understood the earth's roundness as part of a divine cycle. Just as Osiris's body was restored through the actions of his beloved wife Isis, so too is the earth restored through the quiet, patient rhythms of the seasons. The temple seems to hum with this understanding. The walls, covered in intricate carvings, tell the story of Osiris's journey, his death and rebirth, a constant reminder of the world's cyclical nature. The great gods of Egypt, Ra, Horus, Isis, and Set, are all tied into this eternal dance, their movements echoing the flow of time, the cycle of life. Osiris, as the god of rebirth, stands at the center of this cosmic order, his story a reflection of the earth's own story. The earth, like Osiris, is forever caught in the dance between life and death, between creation and destruction. As we move through the temple, the deeper layers of Egyptian thought unfold before us. We begin to see that the earth was not seen as a flat, static plane, but as a living, spherical being, forever turning, forever changing. The Egyptians understood that the world itself was caught in the great cosmic cycle, always in motion, always evolving. And as the earth turns, so too does life, continually being born, dying, and reborn again, like the eternal cycle of Osiris. The earth, like Osiris, is a sacred circle, never ending, ever turning, forever alive. In the silence of the temple, we are left to reflect on the deeper meaning of these ancient symbols. The walls, adorned with the carvings of gods and kings, seem to pulse with the rhythms of the universe. The temple, built to honor Osiris, stands as a reminder that the earth itself is part of a grand divine order. The earth, like Osiris, is not something to be feared, but something to be understood, a sacred force caught in the endless dance of life and death, a force that moves in harmony with the stars, the sun, and the moon. As the night deepens and the temple falls into shadow, we are left with a quiet understanding. The earth, like Osiris, is part of a grand divine cycle, a rhythm that stretches through time and space. The Egyptians, in their reverence for the gods, saw this truth. The earth is not flat, not still, but round, turning, alive. The cycles of life, death, and rebirth are not isolated events, but part of a great cosmic rhythm, one that has been unfolding since the beginning of time. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the truth of the earth's shape, like the divine mysteries of Osiris, is not something to be grasped by the mind, but something to be felt in the soul. Some truths only reveal themselves in the quiet spaces between breaths, in the moments when we are still enough to listen to the whispers of the gods. And as the stars above twinkle softly in the night sky, we rest in the peaceful understanding that the earth, like Osiris, is eternal, forever turning, forever living, forever part of the cosmic dance.
And so, as the Nile continues its gentle journey through the desert, the night sky remains, steady and endless above it. What we remember most from tonight's story isn't just that ancient Egyptians looked at the world differently, it's how they looked. Not with rush, not with noise, but with patience. They watched the way shadows moved across stone, They noticed how stars shifted with distance. They followed the sun's path, day after day, season after season, until the evidence felt less like a discovery and more like a quiet truth waiting to be understood. And maybe that's the comfort of history, especially at bedtime, the reminder that even in the distant past, people lay under the same sky, asking the same kinds of questions, and listening closely for the answers. Now let your eyes grow heavy. Let the last images fade. Temple pillars, warm lamplight, the river shining like glass. If you enjoyed this Twilight Tale, you can gently like, subscribe, and join us for more sleeping history, stories made to calm the mind and soften the night. Until next time, may your dreams be peaceful and your night beautifully quiet. Good night.